Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. So today we're just going to talk about what's going on in the handheld world. I try to do one of these at least once a week and update everybody just in case you're not watching or paying attention. But if you're watching my videos, you've probably seen all this stuff and you know everything's coming out because, I'm low rent. So if you're seeing my stuff, this is all you do. Anyway. Before we jump into what's going on, I wanted to show you guys the complete finished product on my Cube XX button swap. I ran out of time at the end of the video yesterday. It wasn't powering on, but I do my stuff unedited so you can see how things really work out. When you do stuff like this, something's always going to go wrong. So I figured I'd show you what could go wrong, and that's why I don't edit anything. But as you've seen in the video, at the end of it, it wouldn't power on, but that's because I wasn't thinking. Anbernic devices like this, they won't power on without your internal card running the operating system. So yeah, right after I ended the video, I realized, I was like, dumbass, put the card in it. So I put the card in it, powered it on. It came right on, no problems. And then when I was looking at it, that button was missing. I could not find it. I looked all over my desk. I looked all over the floor. I was like, oh man, that little button's going to be gone. I mean, not that big of a tragedy. It would piss me off if it stayed missing, but the button's past there, so I could, in theory, if I needed to, poke something in there and hit reset if I ever need to use that button. So I tore it all back apart again, and yep, I found it. It was inside the handheld rattling around. Even though if I shook it, I couldn't tell it was in there. Put it all back together for like the third or fourth time. And now it's, back to normal. Just with white and silver PlayStation buttons. And I really like this look for it. I even changed the ring light to be white to match it. And I changed the theme to a white and black theme. So I'm really digging this look for this thing. But, yep, thank you to Sakura Retro Modding on Etsy. You guys do amazing buttons for all these handhelds. So, well worth the money you'll spend. You can get on there and find cheaper buttons, but you're going to sacrifice this type of quality. These buttons are amazing. I mean, if you look at my RGB 30, I've had the Sakura buttons on it, well over a year, and no issues. Actually, I think I'm going on 2 years with it now. So, and nothing's fading, peeling, everything still works fine, so they're an amazing quality product, okay? Just so you know. And you're going to pay $15 to $30 depending on the button set you want. But I have faith in them. Shipping, it takes a while. They come from France, so I think it took 2.5 weeks for these to ship to me. There was no extra cost involved since they're tiny little buttons and don't weigh anything. All right, moving on to handheld news here. As most of you know, the regular Miu Mini is discontinued. They are no longer going to make this. So what they have in stock is it. Now, this doesn't mean you'll never be able to get one again, okay? It does not mean that. It means you won't be able to get it from Miu. I'm sure for a while after, third-party companies will have a little bit of stock if they're a company that actually keeps stock and doesn't just pass your order on. And then you always have places like Mercari, eBay, and whatnot. Like, if you get on Mercari right now and look up the Miu Mini, there's probably a few hundred of them on there. Every different color, different versions, ones that have, they've put custom buttons and stickers on, and some with cases and extra stuff and grips, and they range in the prices anywhere from I've seen them for $35 to some people that think they got the only Miu on there and they think it's worth $300. So that's just what you get with that online stuff. So you don't necessarily have to rush out and get one. I do kind of want to order one more just to keep in stock. But I don't know if I want to do like a black one and then do, once again, like PlayStation buttons from Sakura and have like a little vertical PlayStation handheld, or go with this blue one. I hate skittle buttons, so anything like this where it's just that color, I think that is ugly as shit to put on a handheld like this. You got a blue transparent shell and you're gonna put these colors. That's horrible. Same with the black. Same with the white. Like, I hate those buttons. I don't really care for the yellow shell, but at least it has, you know, solid black buttons. And then these are okay, like classic, like Nintendo style. But I'm considering, like, I don't know, maybe grabbing a blue one and then doing a secondary color. I like two-tone stuff, you know what I mean? Just two different colors. So that's a thought. Anyway, if you are looking for a handheld and you've thought about a Miyoo Mini and you have the money for it, and you've been sitting on it, go ahead and get you one. If you're going to order it from, you know, used from like Mercari or eBay, pay attention to who you're buying from. Make sure they have a record of sales and people, you know, have rated them and left comments, and read that stuff. Okay, it's important, because especially on Mercari, you'll come across people with never sold an item, and they'll have like 10 items, all the same picture, all the same item. It's ridiculously cheap, and you're like, oh my god, this is a deal. No, it's a guy trying to scam you. Luckily, with places like Mercari, that doesn't work. I don't know why they even try. It doesn't work. If you buy it off of them, you're not going to get anything in the mail, and they can't get the money because you're not going to complete the order, because it's up to the buyer to complete the order. So, stupid shit. Anyway, so just pay attention. You know, it's like being on Facebook and noticing, like, the way someone talks or types their messages, how it's not quite right, and then you go into their profile and they have like all these pictures trying to make their account look like it's been there forever, but it's the same like 3 people that have liked all their pictures, and then if you go to those people's account, it's the original person plus the other 2 liked all their pictures. You know it's a scammer. Okay, don't fall for that shit. Anyway, moving on. Miyoo Mini V4, you know, hell, the Legion salutes you. You had a good run. You know, this was not my first handheld. My first handheld emulator was a Pocket Go. I absolutely loved it. It struggled to run PlayStation. I got it to run like Breath of Fire 3, but when you'd fight the little birds at the start with their wings flapping really fast, oh man, that almost cooked the whole handheld. It almost exploded with that one. But I loved it. The thing was tiny. It was great. It was like the A30, but smaller and no stick. You could still look it up. I love the thing, but I didn't play on it too much. Then I got a 350M, ignored it for a long time, and then absolutely fell in love with it later on. If you guys know my story, you know why. And then what? RP2 and a Miyoo Mini V2 in this color format. And when I got the V2 Miyoo Mini, it really just changed everything for me. Like, I already was falling in love with handheld emulation at this point. I was loving the 350M. And then I got the Miyoo Mini V2, and the screen on the V2, if you guys recall, was amazing. It was better than the V4 screen. The V2 Miyoo Mini probably has the best screen in that size, period. I mean, it would beat the 34 SP. Anyway, increased my love for it and made me really jump in just head first. I remember telling the person who sponsors my channel, my best friend, that the Miyoo Mini V2, the screen makes me want to replay all the classic games. It makes me want to. It's not that it looks good, but it gives me the desire to play all the games I played as a kid again. And it did. I absolutely loved that thing. Now my V2 is, sorry, hold on a second. Something's going on with the camera. It's saying like it's going to die, but it's not. I just charged it, so stop being a pain in the ass. Anyway, my original V2, I got an insane offer when they quit making the V2. I sold the V2 and bought the same color V4. And if you know how much I sold it for, which I told the guy that was an insane price, he was okay with it. I didn't rip nobody off, but even, yeah, any of you would have done that deal. Moving on. All right, Magic X040. I'm only bringing this one up because it's been making the rounds again. I believe it's getting closer to launch. I think this handheld looks dumb. I don't like anything about it. It looks like a cheap-ass 2DS. It looks like a cheap case with a cheap cell phone stuffed in it. I also don't trust Magic X Zero. I don't trust these guys. They have lied countless times about what they're doing, and they blame it on something else each time. I would never buy a device from them brand new. You know, I don't own a single Magic device because from the XU10 that they released, that was absolute garbage and overpriced, on to all the way to here. They have yet to have what I would consider a good product release. Everything they've released is too expensive for what it is, and then it's not even what they say it is. You open it up and it's something completely different. And this play school looking bullshit, I'm not into it. Okay? I have a RG Cube. I don't need this screen right here. I can play DS on that just fine. Most DS games, the second screen is normally a map. You hardly need it. So, I'm not into this, okay? If you guys are excited about the Magic X Zero, more power to you. I'm happy you're getting excited about it. Jump in, head first. You never know. Could be the best handheld on the planet. Maybe I test this handheld. I don't know. Maybe I don't. If I see one for cheap, possibly. It'll definitely be through like eBay or Mercari. I'm not going to buy from these guys. They have not earned the right to my money at all. Okay? Moving on. Anbernic, once again, we're redoing the 35XX. So let me count and tell me if I missed something or added something or if I'm wrong. We had the 35XX, okay? Started off the XX line. I had one, the little white transparent one. It was amazing. I loved it. I played Lufia 2 on it nonstop. Brother-in-law wanted a handheld really badly. He bought that one off me. All I did is get retail price for it. I never went back and picked up another one. But they had the original 35XX. Then they did the 35XX Plus with like the plus symbol. And then they did the 35XX Plus spelled out. Like PLUS. Right? I feel like I'm missing a fourth iteration of the 35XX. If not, then this is the fourth or the fifth. So now we have the fifth one coming out. Or fourth one, sorry. Fourth one. I'll say fourth one because that's all I can remember. So, fourth version of this coming out. But you get dual analog sticks. I don't know. The second analog stick on the right, I mean, the 40XXV already kind of scratched this itch because the bottom right analog stick it's not that essential. I guess it's nice if you want to like use it for something, but only a few RPG games or whatnot use that right analog stick to rotate the screen, and you can go into controls and change it to something else. So I don't know. It feels like filler. You know what I mean? It's an easy product for them to slap together and throw out to everybody. It'll sell, obviously, because of this color. This color will spark some sales. Hell, my first thought was, ooh, I'd take that green. I mean, it looks a lot like the retroid green blue, but yeah. Nothing else really changed about it. I mean, dual analog, and they have handhelds like this. What was it, the 353 VS and V? This is like the VS, so the single operating system, but it's going to be smaller and cheaper. And now, anything in the XX line, you know what you're going to get. You know the internals. They're good. They're quality products. We just have a million of them to choose from. So, and this is just adding to the line. I don't think this is big news here. I don't think this changes anything. This isn't exciting. If I were to order one of these, I wouldn't even pay attention to tracking. When it shows up, it shows up. I think that green color is neat. I'd probably do one for that green color. I don't mind the black color. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, The whole button being colored is what I refer to as skittle buttons. That inside color being like that, I don't mind that as much. Still not a big fan of it. But even the white looks clean. So, I mean, they all look good. They're not ugly. And if you haven't bought an XX device and you like the XX or 35XX, but you wanted sticks on it, go ahead, jump in on this. You pre-order it. It'll be perfectly fine. Nothing's going to go wrong with it. All right, moving on to the one I'm excited about. That's right. The Anbernic RG Slide. Now, for any of you that have been around my channel since forever, you all know multiple times I have talked about Anbernic doing a slide. I've talked about the fact that we have recreated all the Game Boys now. You know, we got the Game Boy Advance, the SPs, a million iterations of the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket. We have new screens for old devices. We have, I mean, so many options out here. But nobody's redone like the PSP Go. Now, when I talk about this, I do know that Neo has a slide. I've done a video on the RG, or not the RG slide, sorry, the Antec Neo slide. All right, I've done a video on that, so I don't want you to think I don't know that exists. I know a slide handheld exists outside of like the PSP Go, but I'm talking about this by itself, standalone. I look at AYN, Neo, and those kind of boutique, you know, manufacturers in a whole different category. I don't count them in the same league as Retroid, Anbernic, Powkitty, Miu, and I don't even count Magic X as a manufacturer. I think they're all bullshit. Anyway, so you guys know I have talked about Anbernic doing a slide forever. Talked about how we've done all the Game Boys. No one's made a copy of the PSP Go. Why not? This would be a perfect XX device. Do an RG XX or RG slide XX, whatever. Put the screen, do like a RG 169XX slide. You know, 169 being the 16:9 screen, shit like that. Here we are. Also, if you recall, long time ago, last year, long time ago. Anyway, I think it was before I created my channel. I was in a live with, I think, the Retro Handheld crew. Just a viewer. And they were looking at a new Anbernic product. I can't remember which one. And there was an Anbernic rep in there. And I started like bombarding the dude with, why have you not made a slide? Make a slide. You'll just absolutely corner this market. You'll be the only ones with a budget slide product. You'll have 100% market share. Nobody will have that. You will sell one to everybody that's bought one of your devices. Just kind of, that's a good idea, and kept going. At some point, I emailed Anbernic, like laying out the 16:9 screen, H700 chip, what you can name it, everything, like laying out full design. Of course, I'm a nobody, no response, no nothing. Here we are, a little while later, we have the RG slide coming out. I am just happy it's being made. It's one of those things you feel like you push and it'll never happen, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's in the works. It's in the works. Thank you. So all that effort didn't pay off. They didn't probably even read my email. They didn't actually care anything I said. They did this on their own. Somebody was like, hey, you know what? I've been thinking about a slide. I don't know where I got the idea. But no, I'm kidding. They probably had it in the works long before I said something. But let's look at it. Now, when I originally watched this, I was talking to a viewer, and I said, it looks a little big. Right after I said that, I went about my day, and then I started thinking, the person holding it probably has small hands. Okay? That's why it looks big to me. So I went back to say something, and they already responded with, the person probably has small hands. And I was like, yeah, right? That's what I was coming to say. Honestly, this probably looks really close. I mean, do you see the little screw placement in the back? So that looks really close to the RG Cube, just without the bump outs here. Looks smooth on the back. But that looks pretty close to the RG Cube size. So, from what we know now, assume RG Cube sliding screen. Okay, look at me. RG Cube sliding screen, okay? That's what we're talking about. Anyway, this one I am very excited for. Now, this is new territory for any of these companies, anbernic or whoever, building a slide. Now, we already know anbernic kills it when it comes to building a hinge. Their hinge is a very, very low failure rate. It's something you shouldn't even have to think about when it comes to anbernic, and you don't need to think about it. You can just jump in, get it, and you know it's going to be fine. Now, a slide. How well are they going to implement this? Now, I know PlayStation did it pretty much perfectly with the PSP Go. Those things are still around. They're still floating around out there. They're very expensive. And the slide mechanism works fine. So, is anbernic going to follow suit? Now, traditionally, it looks like they reverse engineer these products like the SP and figure out this is what they did for a hinge. I'm going to do the same. So, they normally copy that stuff. So, and from the looks of this back here and how the screen is buttoned up here, that is exactly what a PSP Go looks like. Okay. I am excited for this one. Genuinely excited for this one. This is like the 34XX SP. That one I was like, I don't even know why I'm super excited about it, but I am, and it has not been a disappointment at all. I'm still in love with this thing. It's amazing. And actually I've watched a couple other people review it, and I feel like the general consensus is the same as me, which is kind of rare for my channel to agree with, to be in agreement with all these others, how amazing this is. But I finally watched a review. I'm not calling anybody out. But the person was like, I don't even know why this is a thing. Yeah, why not just get to 35XX? Why even get this? This is stupid. This is dumb. He missed the point completely. Okay? And you're absolutely entitled to your own opinion. If you hate it, you hate it. Hell, that's how I feel, right? But it feels like to me this other person will always be opposite ends. And it's fine. It's not like we know each other. But they were going off about how the screen's meant for just GBA. And it still feels like people are missing the point that as long as you're not worried about integer scaling and pixel perfect everything, not that your eyes will know the difference because you're just holding that handheld. If you don't have 20 other handhelds, all with integer scaling, all pixel perfect to compare it to, you're not gonna notice all the time that it's not perfect. And that screen has been amazing for not just GBA, but PSP, PS1 looks fine on it, and Super Nintendo. It's being overlooked because it looks like a GBA SP. That's all anybody's talking about it. It's aimed towards GBA, so that's all the screen's meant for. That is not the case. It is meant for so much more. And those of you that have one, you already know what I'm talking about. You've already done this. You've branched out. You've played other stuff. And you're like, you know what? This screen it's amazing. And it's so much better for everything else. It's not just GBA. I'm not trying to stop and just rant, but I hate when people, I feel like they miss the mark with everything and they tunnel vision. You know what I mean? Oh, it looks like a GBA. We're only going to talk about a GBA. We'll gloss over the others and be like, yeah, it runs these just fine, but we're not going to talk about the fact that the screen looks good. Moving on. So just before I started this video, I was chatting with my best friend, my brother, and sponsor of our channel. And because I was setting up these pages to go through, he reminded me of something. I don't know how many of you know this, or were around for this, or even in a handheld game at this time. But way back when, there was this company that was going to do a portable dual-screen handheld powered by Windows and Android. This is what it looked like. Now, this is before Ioneo. This is before AYN. This is before any of those companies were putting out anything. Okay, they didn't exist yet. If they did, they weren't known anyway. These people did I can't remember if it was a Kickstarter, an Indiegogo, or whatever. They went for some crowdfunding. They got some crowdfunding. Massing over, what does that say? A Kickstarter campaign. A little over 300 grand. They pulled the plug. They got 300K, pulled the plug, didn't do refunds, and disappeared. Right? They reemerged as Magic X. No, I'm kidding. Maybe. If anybody's good at looking into shit, I bet you it's Magic X. I bet you this looks like shit. I bet you that speaker girl right there. Those dots. Looks like Magic X. Anyway, actually wouldn't surprise me if it was. They went into hiding for a couple of years and used that 300 grand to create Magic X. And then continuously lie to people because that's what they do. That's what they do. I'm not going to get into the specs of this never existed piece of shit. But just keep that in mind. Okay? Companies and people that do this stuff, it's not always going to happen. And sometimes it's just a money grab. You know what I mean? They're just out there to get you to pay for something, and they're going to take off on you. You're not going to get anything for it. This was one of those cases. This was the most legit, legal, heist, I guess. I mean, they straight stole that money. Moving on. I'm just bringing this up because I feel like it's been a while since Humble Bundle has had a good bundle. Now, somebody's probably going to hit the comments well, last week they had this. They had such a dry spell, I quit checking every week or whatever. A lot of these are down to 1 day. Let's see, Xbox Bundle, Wasteland, Quantum Break, As Dusk Falls, Ori, Age of Empire, Battletoads, Sunset Over. I don't even know what that is. What do you need to pay for this one? You need at least $10. So if you donate $10, you get all the games. I mean, you can lower it. So for $5, you get these 3 games. So, I mean, I believe... nope, they want 5 or better. You used to be able to pay $1 and get, most of a bundle. But for $10, not bad. Age of Empires is... I love that game. I play the second one with my wife and kids all the time. It'll burn a whole day before you know it. You'll play 2 games and you all are sitting there wait, why are we starving to death and about to pass out from not eating? You realize you ran 2 games and spent 12, 13 hours playing and the whole day's gone. Now, Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisp, I've played a little bit of these games. I got them for $1 or $2 a piece for both of the Ori games I have. Not from Humble Bundle. I don't remember where I got them from. But I only played a little bit of them. But these 2 make the bundle worth it for $10. Alright, let's kill off the Xbox Bundle. Let's check out. This is the one. I'm going to save it for last. The Badass Brawlers is the one I think is worth it. Let's do Stomp and Chomp. $18 to get these games. Let's see what happens if I go to the minimum. The minimum right now is 9. You get these 3 games. 18, you get all those games right there. All of these. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know any of these games. I know the name Turok. I've never really played those games. So, nope, not worth it. Alright. Let's see. This one, 9 games, $10. Looks like we got some Batman stuff, yeah. What was that? Telltale series stuff going on, Walking Dead stuff. $10 is the minimum on it. I know the name Sam and Max, never played any of their games, so I don't know how worth it these are. They show that they have 98% positive on Steam. Don't know if that's real or not. So be the judge. Do you think this one's worth it for $10? Moving on. Not this. Okay. On to this one. Badass Brawlers. This one I think is worth it. You have to pay a minimum of $16. If you shop around, this whole $179 value is a lie. If you bounce between CD keys, what you can find and what you can't find, and then going back to just get them on Steam, it's really more like $90 value for $16. So don't be fooled by that. Yes, I did the math. I looked them up. Some of them I couldn't find on CD keys, so I just went Steam price. So I have 2 games in that list that are $25 a piece, and the rest of them are like $5, $8, $10, whatever. We've all played River City because we're Handheld group. That's what we do. We have River City Ransom on a bunch of handhelds, so we all played it. So this is River City Girls. I believe like the guys got kidnapped and now the girls are running it. I've never played Dawn of Monsters. Young Souls looked pretty good. I don't know anything about Final Vendetta, but of course getting that Streets of Rage look to it. Full Metal Furies. I've already owned this game. I've had it for a long time. It's kind of fun. I played it with my son, you know, kind of think Castle Crashers, but less goofy bullshit. But not, there's not no goofy bullshit, it's just less. Pretty fun, all the different classes. It's like a really good mix of a bunch of beat 'em ups. I actually really like this game, and I do think this absolutely makes it worth it. And then Double Dragon Neon. Now, I've played Double Dragon Gaiden. Neon actually didn't look that bad. So, yeah, I think Young Souls, Double Dragon Neon, Full Metal Furies, and I don't know, but I feel like River City Girls might be okay. All that makes it worth it. So if you're going to pick up a humble bundle out of these ones, I feel like this is the one to do. All right, guys, let's end it there. So tell me what you think about everything. I know I stopped at each tab and probably talked more than I should have. I actually expected this video to be about half this length. Let me know what you think about everything. You know, the Miyu being discontinued, which, don't fool yourself. This is not like the first one. Look back at like Anbernic's product. You think they're still producing the 300X? No, they're not. They just didn't make a big deal out of it. So, and you can still get those whenever you want. Magic 040. You guys know my feelings on this. They're very strong, and I dislike them. This is still just playing videos. What do you think about the slide? I know we've talked about it before, and your answer should be, I'm excited. If it's not, then get excited. And how do you feel about PGS just robbing people? All right, guys, what is it? So it's Thursday, so I got one more video to do tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but you know me, we'll figure it out. We'll do something, whether it just be talk about handhelds or play games. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next episode.